You're in the middle of a presentation, a high stakes one, where you could possibly be promoted from an amazing presentation outcome. But somehow, somewhere, something happened. Maybe a technology difficulty, maybe someone disrupted your presentation midway, and you've put in so many hours of prep time into doing a good job. And suddenly you just choke. You get nervous. You forgot what to say next. Well, the thing is, this happens all the time. People get nervous, presenters get nervous during business meetings, presentations. It happens. So, what do you do then? It even happens to the best of us. Even the pros mess up sometimes. Today, I'll be talking to you about how to have a healthy internal self-talk and how do you manage yourself when you kind of drop the ball when you're in a high stakes meeting. So first things first, let's all take a deep breath, okay? Just thinking about it makes me tense. Okay, you ready? So we all know that, or I'm not sure if you know, we are our own harshest critic. When it comes to our friends, when him or her kind of made a small mistake during mid-presentation, we tend to be the encouraging colleague or friend to encourage them to move on, forget the little mistakes. It's a no big deal, right? But when it comes to us, when you screw up, we think that the world is ending and it's the worst thing possible. Somehow we question our ability to do a good job and we think of ourselves as incompetent to even give a presentation. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So here are some tips on how to solve that. First things first, critical window is during the mid-presentation. When you do get nervous, when you forget what to say next, the first thing you want to do is have your body in check. What do I mean by that? When you get nervous, we default to flight mode, meaning you want to just escape and not be there in your presentation. When you're in flight mode, your body gets tense, your shoulders stiffen up, you might be slouching, you might be breathing really quickly, and just hoping, okay, I just want to get out of here. Now, wait a minute. Your body is reacting the way because, well, you're just human, right? So, first thing is get your body in check, relax. Like I said, take a deep breath, recenter yourself, and try to remain present. I know it's easier said than done, but that's the first quest you have to conquer because you don't want to let your body hijack your intention to do a good job versus your human need to just escape from an embarrassing situation. So have your body in check, make sure to stay aligned and present, and just observe your environment and continue on your mission to delivering a good presentation. 2, you should compartmentalize what just happened for later on. I get it. You are eager to find out what went wrong. You might want to play the blame game. You might want to process that emotion right away. I know sometimes I do that, but that is not the best time because remember, you're in mid-presentation. People are watching you. There's an audience there. And also your promotion might be in line here. So compartmentalize it, pause and take a pause and then have that moment to review what happened later on. Focus on doing a good job and making sure that your message is delivered because your boss is watching. Third part, self-pep talk. Sometimes you need that knee-jerk reaction to get yourself back into momentum. So pat yourself in the back, remind yourself that, hey, you got this. It's okay to just shrug it off. Remember to do a good job and just remember your points. If you do need to buy time, perhaps you can find some solution to help you drag on and recollect your thoughts. So what I described there is really all going on in your head, right? To first have your body aligned with your thoughts. 2, compartmentalize and deal with that whatever thoughts or distraction later on. And 3rd, just encourage yourself to get back into the presentation. Now, let's talk about the external part where people are watching you, how you react to a small hiccup in your presentation. First, you can use humor. Make a joke out of the situation. Sometimes laugh along with the audience. It's no biggie. Second, you can redirect the message strategically. If you forget what to say next or you lose your train of thought halfway, you can always share a fun fact related to the content you're sharing. Or you can point out something that you find interesting. Share a joke even, going back to the humor point. And third, maybe take a pause. If timing works for you conveniently, you can always request for a toilet break or have the audience stretch alongside with you. Sometimes we do need that little breather, right? So find smart ways, creative ways to buy you time so that you have a little more wiggle room to recollect your thoughts and be centered again and focus on what your presentation is all about. So do remember, the audience are more forgiving than you think. Now let's talk about the presentation. The hard part is over. Internally, externally, you've done a good job. Now you have time to review the tape. What happened exactly? Replay that memory because I know you're probably tempted to. You're only human. Do review the facts. Try to not get too emotional about it and don't play the blame game. Seek out what lessons can you learn from the experience. You know what they say, right? The masters have made more mistakes than someone new who is trying something new. So you're probably on the way to mastery. Another thing to remember is, as being a human being, we tend to be biased towards the negative side. I'm pretty sure you probably did something right during your presentation. So celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the 5 out of 10 things you did right. And forget maybe the one small little mistakes that you might have slipped on during your presentation. And ultimately, be compassionate to yourself. I get it. It can be quite difficult, especially if you're a perfectionist. I know how hard it could get. So pat yourself in the back. You did a good job. Small mistakes don't define you. Recovery does. So next time when the nerves hit, remember, breathe, compassion, recover. You got this.